I say to women today, it doesn't matter what your stage in life, it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
Impact has no expiration date.
Ooh. Wow.
Live your passion. Find out what your dream is. And if you're going to dream, you may as well dream big and go for it. Don't let anybody tell you can't.
They say God is not on a budget.
I mean, really, isn't it the truth?
So we are back with another episode of What's Your IQ? What's Your Impact Quotient? And if I look younger or a bit different, it's because I'm not Nancy. I am Rae. And today I have the honor of interviewing, Nancy, which is the host of this podcast. We just wrapped up an amazing session where you interviewed me and you passed to me and you gifted me this amazing memoir that you wrote. And I would love to dive deeper into this book, right? So I just met Nancy like 2 days ago. So this is new to me. And the moment I flipped through it and even heard a little bit about the backstory of the first time you went to India and how it changed you, I felt myself getting so curious as to what drew you to even write this book. So Nancy, thanks for sitting down with me.
Wow.
Live in Singapore.
This is great. This is going to be interesting. I'm used to asking the questions, and now I'm being questioned, which is, I like this.
Yeah.
I like it.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Okay, so first question, before you went to India, were there any thoughts that were preventing you from going, or people telling you that you shouldn't go because whatever? What were your prior thoughts about India?
Absolutely. I'm from a very small rural area in North Carolina, and the expectations were to get a job, get married, have children, live your life, and everything looks very nice on the outside looking in. But on the inside, I was not extremely happy. And no particular reason. I think it was more me than anything. My husband and I divorced. And once that happened, I had talked to some people online because I started let me backtrack a little bit. I started a technology club at my school where I taught. And children would come in the morning and do all kinds of technology. And one of the things they were doing, this was new back then. This was a few years ago now. Back in the 1990s, it was new, but we were doing Skype. And then we were talking to people across the world. Can you believe that? I have a son that's in China, so we Skyped him to find out about the culture. The children talked about the culture in China and asked him a lot of questions about what it was like living there. So then I began going on the internet to find other people from other places so that my children at school could experience the world and get the perspectives of people from different locations. I met people from India. I met people from Australia. I met people from Europe, all over Europe, Egypt, Libya, Israel.
Wow.
And each one of those people, they were professional people, agreed to be partners with a classroom in my small rural school in eastern North Carolina. Can you believe that? So the teachers, and of course back then there was no video chatting in the classroom, but we did have email. It wasn't that far back, so we did have email. And so each classroom teacher would talk to the children about that particular area. Let's suppose it was Australia. They would talk to the children about Australia. They would do some research about Australia. They would come to the library, do research about Australia. And then they would have a list of questions. The teacher would email those people in that country, in Australia, and then they would answer the questions and send those back. In the meantime, and they loved it. They loved every bit of it. Then once a month or something, we would take of time in the library for them to really see the person. We would do a video chat and let them see the person. So that was very interesting. But in the meantime, personally, I started talking to these people and became friends with them. And I became friends with a group of Anglo-Indians in England. And one of them said, I have a son and daughter. We migrated to England. And I have a son and daughter that were not able to migrate with us because they were over the age of 18. They've not been allowed to come to the United States. Not in the United States, but England. They've not been allowed to come there because at that particular time, a lot of people would come in illegally and not go back to India. So being a naive American, I thought, okay, let me invite someone. Let me invite this boy to the United States. And so I did. I wrote a nice letter. I thought it was a very nice letter. Sent it to the embassy in Delhi. He took it there and went there and was declined to come to the United States on a trip. I had no idea. Why did that happen? What made that happen? So I called the embassy. I thought, well, I'll just call the embassy. Still being pretty naive. Today, I don't think I would take that bold step. But anyway, I called the embassy and happened to talk to a man that was the visa officer, the consul general. His name was John Ney. And I talked to him for 45 minutes and convinced him that this young man, his name was Eric Barrett, could come to the United States, experience another culture, and he would come back. And he was very adamant that what happens if he doesn't? And I said, you'll just have to trust me. He'll come back. And I would like to say, and this is probably more the truth than not, after 45 minutes of talking on the phone, he probably thought, let me get this woman off the phone. Yeah, let him have the visa. So I gave him the visa. He came, visited, stayed with us a month. I took him to my school. There again, small rural area. They got a chance to meet somebody from another country. They interviewed him like crazy, wanting to know all about India. He left. I called John Ney, and I told him he's on his way home. So at that point, he asked me to come to India. Eric said, come to India and come visit us for Christmas. So I did. I didn't know how I was going to get there. I didn't have the money. How am I going to I was newly divorced. I had a 12-year-old son. I had other sons that I hated to leave at Christmas. But I decided that was my time to break free and find myself.
Well, before you go further to share about your experience in India, I'm really curious what was going through your mind in that moment because there was a lot at stake, right? I mean,
At stake.
young son, newly divorced, like you're still probably rediscovering what's the next step. There's probably a lot of uncertainty and you're getting this request to go to a country you've never visited before. What was like going through your mind? Were there any
Oh, my
fears?
gosh.
Were there any
Yeah, I was
concerns?
very fearful, but at the same time, I felt this pull. There was something that I had to do. There was some reason that I needed to go to India. There was some reason that I needed to do something on my own like this. Before I'd been at home living with my parents. I got married, then I lived with a husband. So I was never independent on my own and doing things on my own. And I felt that I needed to go. I wasn't sure exactly why. I wasn't sure exactly what I was supposed to find out. I didn't know. And like I said, I didn't have the money. I had no money, but somehow it all came about and I decided to go. All of a sudden one day I opened the mail and there was a dividend check from a stock that I'd had, dividend check for exactly the amount that I needed for my youngest son and I to go.
Wow.
I took him because he was only 12. The other two boys are older. I was nervous about taking my 12-year-old son. Of course, everybody said, don't go, don't go. And of course, it was right after 9/11. And so kids even at the school were coming up and saying, oh, it's too dangerous, you can't go, you can't go. And then teachers would say, they don't like you over there. And I mean, people were telling me, don't go, don't. I went anyway. So I said, I'm going anyway.
What surprised you?
That I went, that I actually did it. I mean, I got on the plane and I'm thinking, oh my God. I mean, the security at the airport was incredible because it was right after 9/11. I had a 12-year-old son that was irritable, tired. He would take the luggage and lie down on the floor with the luggage because he was exhausted. But we went. And it was surprising that we actually got there in one piece.
Wow.
Yeah, we got there. So anyway, but my friend, one of the people that I'd met online was Amit Karmakar. And he said, he's from India, but he now based in Sydney, Australia. He said, you have to keep a journal. Why? I keep a journal. I'm not keeping a journal. I don't have time for all that. Yes, you do. Keep a journal. Take paper, take pen, keep a journal. So I said, okay, I'll do that. I wrote every day, telling my experience, what we were doing that day, where we were, how I felt about it, what was happening, who we were with, all kinds of things that happened, my opinions of different things, my insights of different things. And he put it online. It was a web page for a while. And so it was cute. We liked it. I played with it. It was nice. It was supposed to be turned into a blog. Life happened. I lost interest. He went doing other things. He had a job. So sort of put it by the wayside. Maybe not even quite 6 months ago, we were talking. We talk quite frequently. And he said, I wonder whatever happened to that journal. I said, I don't know. You're the one who put it online. I don't know whatever had happened to it. And he said, it needs to be a book. And I said, are you crazy? Why am this doesn't need to be a book. Who's to be interested in my life? I mean, I'm from North Carolina. I'm from Eastern North Carolina. Who's interested in that? He said, no, it needs to be a book. I said, yeah. I said, I don't remember a thing. I remember some things, but I don't have the detail. He said, I'm going to see if I can find it. I said, good luck with that. 25 years later, he found it.
Wow. That's meant to be written.
It was meant to be written. And so he found it, and he called me up one day, and he said, you don't believe what I found. And he found the journal, and I said, you got to be kidding me. And he said, I'm not kidding. He found it. And I said, okay. And he said, okay, now, are you going to write a book?
Now it's time to write.
And I said, oh. So he sort of forced me into it.
There is a really beautiful excerpt in this book, right? I just turned to it and it spoke to me. And it says, the world is a strange, sad, beautiful, complicated place. And the only thing I know for certain is that you understand it better when you show up and talk to people in it. Not from behind a television screen, not from a newspaper headline, face to face, in a van, in the rain, with someone whose life looks nothing like yours and whose heart sounds exactly the same. That is so beautiful, because I'm sure that everybody will have experienced this, where they want to go somewhere and a well-meaning loved one say, hey, you shouldn't go there because it's too dangerous, it's too this, it's too that, you shouldn't talk to this person, they might stab you in the back. There's all these stereotypes, but this beautiful passage just speaks against it. So when you look at this, when you wrote this, right, that paragraph in your journal, do you have a story or a person that you met that denotes, that kind of reflects this passage?
Everybody that I met in India.
Wow.
I went with a family, and they made me feel a part of that family. They accepted my son and I as part of their family. They treated the husband and wife treated my son just like he was a son to them. They had other children. They have 7 children, and they treated him like one of them. And they treated me the same way. They treated me like a sister.
Wow.
And it was just fascinating. And I was so enthralled with their story, because they had taken a leap of faith and migrated to England, left 2 children behind in India because they wanted their other children to have a different kind of life.
Beautiful. I mean, that speaks to what you did as well, bringing your 12-year-old son to India for the first time. Not a lot of people would do that. And right now, at a beautiful age of 70 plus, 70 what?
73.
73, you have decided to create a new career for yourself and to speak to women, to go into women empowerment. So having lived such a rich and diverse and up and down life, what would be your message to women today at any stage of their life?
Take a chance. Don't let anything hold you back. I'm so excited to meet you because I love the fact that you found out what you wanted to be at a young age and where you wanted to be, and you have a clear direction. I say to women today, it doesn't matter what your stage in life, it doesn't matter where you are.
Yeah.
Impact has no expiration date.
Ooh, wow.
Live your passion. Find out what your dream is. And if you're going to dream, you may as well dream big and go for it. Don't let anybody tell you can't.
They say God is not on a budget.
I mean, really, isn't it the truth? So, you may have to start small, but I've seen so many women that are doing that now. and I think there was probably a lot of them in the past too that I didn't notice, and I wish I had noticed. But now I'm noticing, and now I'm listening, and now I'm talking.
And to those women who have big dreams, but they have so much responsibilities they tell themselves they have to look after. They have this, they have that, finances, they have kids, they have all these things they need to do, and they genuinely find it so hard to pursue their dream.
Absolutely.
What would you say to them?
But I think we all have that. I think women, we take on the world, Every woman takes on the world, especially if you have a family and you have children. That's what a woman does. But for some reason, somehow we can multitask and we are able to live our dreams too. And we need to accept that. And we need to do exactly what you said, show up and be there. Okay, start small if you need to, but take time for yourself. There is nothing wrong with pampering yourself. There's nothing wrong with telling your kids, stay out of the bathroom a minute. I'm in the tub. Stay out. I'm taking time for myself. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, I always believe that you can live your dream life today.
You have to.
Whatever the dream is, ask yourself, what is one thing I can do today? One tiny action step. What is the time that I can carve for myself daily, weekly, to just live my dream?
Exactly.
And it could be as simple as 1 hour a week, I go for a music class and reconnect my passion. One tiny step. And over time, it grows.
Over time, it does grow. But there's so many, I think, that are not sure exactly. I wasn't sure exactly what my passion was outside of my life at home. I wasn't sure. So I'm a firm believer in a lifelong learner. Try something new. Doesn't matter. I'm learning Italian. Can I speak Italian? No. I know a few words. I said buongiorno to Luciano the other day. That was about my limit. But I'm trying.
Right.
I'm trying.
And if I were to just kind of look at your story as a whole, I feel like you have this life motto almost, which is be present and enjoy the experience.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter what the outcome is. If you enjoy the process, you're winning every day.
That's exactly right.
That is the feeling that I get from you.
That's
it's
right.
like there's this in the present moment that you have.
And showing up. I mean, I've had such a wonderful time here in Singapore, and I think a lot of people, their expectations, I've had people say to me when I'm traveling or going somewhere, oh, I don't like that place, or I don't want, well, if you don't like it, you're certainly not going to enjoy it. If you put it in your mind that you're not going to enjoy that, you won't.
Yeah.
But if you say, I'm going to have the best time, it's going to be a wonderful experience. I'm going to meet some lovely people. Somehow that happens.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And your journey has been a testament of that.
Yes.
So the last question that I have to wrap up today's episode is, what are you excited about for the road ahead, for your work, for Impact Quotient, for this book? What are you excited about?
Oh, wow. Living every day to the fullest.
Oh.
Showing up, being my authentic self, telling my story. For a long time, I wouldn't tell it. I was nervous about writing a book. I mean, this is my memoir. This is my life. I'm exposing myself to the world, the trials, tribulations, the pains, the glory, the joy. That's hard to do. That's hard to do. When I was recording this audiobook, I'm doing it with my son. My middle son is Josh, is a sound recorder. And I was recording that with him, and he was producing it. And in my mind, all of a sudden I thought, oh my gosh, this is part of your story too.
Wow.
And I asked him, I said, is this bothering you to hear me reading this about how I struggled? And so he said, not at all. He said, not at all. I lived it too. I saw it too. So I think just live every day to the fullest. And like you said, do something that you want to do every day. Take some time for you. Take some time for something that really turns you on. My love is meeting people.
Yes,
talking
me
to people,
too.
collecting stories.
Me too.
And listening and watching different people in different areas and learning about different people.
Nancy, thank you for being a part of my story. I believe that we are a collection of stories.
Absolutely.
We are a collection of different people's personalities and beliefs. They rub off on us. And your story has been such an impact on me. And it's just the beginning. You know, we just met.
Totally.
I can totally see us working together.
I
And you'll be
can too.
coming back.
I'll be coming back
Maybe
to
you
Singapore.
move here. Who knows?
Who knows? And you'll be in the United
Yes.
States. You must come. Yeah, I think there's a collaboration here because we're on the same page.
100%.
Doesn't matter our age difference or
Yeah.
our culture differences. We're the same.
Yeah, a soul meets a soul and then you connect.
Absolutely. Thank you so
So
much.
that is today's episode. I don't know how we usually end this, but if you enjoy this podcast, please give Nancy a beautiful follow. Subscribe to her Spotify, her YouTube, and follow her journey as she shares her rich life and the stories that she has collected. And also follow her to see what else she does ahead, because I think that with Nancy, every day is an exciting surprise. So follow along and we'll see you in the next
wow.
episode.
Thank you so much. My pleasure.
Yay!
Great job, Rae.
Good
Great
job.
job.